Right now, somewhere in your day, you are going to tell a lie. Not a big one, a small one. I'm fine. I love it. Sorry, I'm running late. Traffic was bad. You won't even notice you're doing it. But what if you couldn't? What if no human ever could? Imagine a version of humanity where deception simply never evolved. No exaggeration, no flattery, no little white lies to smooth over an awkward moment. Just raw, unfiltered truth every single time from everyone, forever. It sounds peaceful. It sounds honest. It it would actually be a different species entirely. Lying isn't a flaw in human nature. It's a feature, a very, very old one. Researchers who study primate behavior, including Franz de Waal, have spent decades observing something strange in chimpanzees. They hide food, they fake injuries, they mislead rivals about where they're going. This isn't random, it's strategic. Deception, in some form, appears to predate humans by millions of years. So the question isn't really, what if humans never lied? The deeper question is, what if the entire primate lineage had skipped this step? What if intelligence had evolved without deception coming along for the ride? Here's the uncomfortable part. Many scientists now think the two are connected, tightly connected. There's a theory in evolutionary psychology called the Machiavellian intelligence hypothesis. It suggests that primate brains, including ours, grew larger, not just to solve physical problems like finding food, but to solve social problems. Problems like, who can I trust? Who is trying to manipulate me? How do I get what I want without starting a fight? Deception is one of the most cognitively demanding things a brain can do. Think about what's actually required to tell a convincing lie. You have to know the truth, then you have to construct a false version of it, then you have to predict what the other person already believes, then you have to track whether they're buying it, then you have to remember your own lie later so it doesn't contradict itself. That's not a simple skill. That's a stack of mental abilities working together in real time. Psychologist Robert Trivers, who studied deception extensively, proposed something even stranger. He argued that humans evolved not just to deceive others, but to deceive themselves. Why would self deception help anyone survive? Because a lie is easier to sell when you believe it yourself. If you're trying to convince a group that you're confident, brave, or trustworthy, and you actually believe it, your face won't betray you. Your voice won't shake. Liars who know they're lying often leak small signals. Confident self-deceivers don't. So in a world without lying, you wouldn't just lose the ability to manipulate others, you might lose a layer of self-protection too. Now picture this honest version of humanity trying to function as a society. Every job interview is brutally accurate. Every compliment is either true or withheld. Every excuse for missing a deadline is the real reason, even if it's, I didn't feel like it. There's no diplomatic phrasing, no tactful silence. No, it's not you, it's me. At first, this sounds refreshing. No more guessing what people really mean. But total honesty doesn't just remove deception, it removes social lubrication. Anthropologists who study small scale societies have noted that minor dishonesty, things like polite white lies, often serve a stabilizing function. They prevent unnecessary conflict. They let groups cooperate even when individual feelings clash. Without that buffer, every social interaction becomes a potential confrontation. Imagine telling your group leader exactly what you think of their decision with zero softening in a small tribe where you depend on each other for survival. Now imagine doing that every day, about everything, with everyone. Cooperation might not survive the honesty. This is where the story gets even stranger. Lying isn't only about competition, it's also tangled up with cooperation. Researchers studying game theory have modeled how trust and deception co evolve in social groups. In most simulations, a population of pure truth tellers is actually unstable. Why? Because the moment a single liar appears, that liar has a massive advantage. Everyone else is telling the truth. The one liar can exploit that completely. For total honesty to survive evolutionarily, it would need a world with zero competition for resources, zero social hierarchy, and zero individual advantage to gain from deception. That world doesn't exist in nature. It never has. So, if humans had truly never developed the capacity to lie, it likely wouldn't be because we chose honesty. It would be because something else in our evolutionary path had to be fundamentally different. Less competition, less hierarchy, less self interest baked into survival. That's not a tweak. That's a different kind of social animal altogether. There's another twist here. Children don't learn to lie by being taught. Developmental psychologists, including researchers like Kang Lee, have studied lying in toddlers and found something fascinating. Most children begin lying spontaneously around age 2 or 3, long before they understand right and wrong. The earliest lies aren't moral failures, they're cognitive milestones. To lie, a child first needs something called theory of mind, the understanding that other people have beliefs that can be different from reality and different from what the child knows. In other words, lying is one of the first signs that a child understands other minds exist at all. If humans never develop deception, it might mean we never develop that deep, layered awareness of other people's inner mental states. No deception might mean no real theory of mind. And without theory of mind, you don't just lose lying. You lose empathy, as we know it. You lose storytelling. You lose persuasion, negotiation, diplomacy, comedy, and most of art. Suddenly, the honest utopia doesn't sound peaceful anymore. It sounds hollow. Here's the modern mirror, the part that brings this back to you. You probably think of lying as something bad people do, something dishonest, something to be eliminated from your own behavior. But every day, you use small deceptions, including the ones aimed at yourself, to function. You tell yourself you'll start tomorrow. You convince yourself a breakup was for the best before you've actually processed it. You smile at a stranger's joke that wasn't funny because the social cost of honesty isn't worth it. None of that makes you a bad person. It makes you a working model of millions of years of social evolution. The lie isn't the glitch. The lie is the social glue, the buffer, the cognitive proof that you understand other minds exist separate from your own. So tonight, when you tell someone, I'm fine, and you're not failing at honesty, you're running software that's older than language itself, older than fire, older than almost everything you'd call human culture. The real strangeness isn't that humans learn to lie. It's that lying may be one of the clearest signs we ever learn to truly understand each other at all.